I spent years learning these things, but I'm going to break them down into this 5-step video on how to be a professional musician. Being a professional musician is really tough, and there's some sort of unspoken rules and etiquette and things that are expected of you as a musician which aren't necessarily taught, but you learn over years and years of experience. So what I'm going to do is take all of these lessons and all of this knowledge that I've learned and cram it into this one little video to hopefully teach you guys the skills that you need to be a pro musician. So skill number 1 is be good at networking. I can't remember who said it, but the phrase is, your network is your net worth. And that's really true, especially in the music industry. The whole industry is built on networking. You know, you need to know people so that you can get the calls to go and gig or to go and record on a session. If they don't know you exist, you don't get the call. So you have to constantly be networking, promoting yourself and meeting new people. And there's loads of ways you can do this. There's Facebook forums where people are constantly looking for deps and covers. So jump on there and try and grab every gig you can. Throw your CV out to all of these people and be like, hey, I'm available. I used to scroll through those every morning. I go, okay, what gigs are available? What gigs are available? And even if the gig had been taken, it was marked like, oh, we found someone, I would still send that person a message. Hey, I know you found a guitar player for this job, but just in case it doesn't work out or you need cover later again, here's my CV. Keep me in mind. That's all you can do, but it's better than not reaching out at all. There's also jam nights. Now, there, without doubt, in every town will be a local jam where all the musicians get together, play their favourite tunes, hang out, have a few beers and just swap stories. These watering holes are essential to your networking journey. Go every week, go multiple times a week to different ones, show your face, meet people, make friends, show off, go play, go show them what you can do, because it's there where you're going to get people's eyes on you. People are going to notice you as a musician. People are going to go, oh, Jamie's in town, Jamie's around. Go hire him. I can't tell you how many countless gigs I've got off of just hanging out at jam nights. Just be a good guy and hang. That's what it's about. Another great way is to sit in. Go message musicians that are on bigger shows, on theatre tours or arena things, and just reach out and say, hey, I'm trying to network. I'd like to do what you're doing. I'd like to meet you. Can we hang? I'd love to learn from you. Can I come to the show? Most of the time they'll say yeah, because musicians are generally nice people. So they say, yeah, come hang out, sit with them during the show, learn, watch, chat to the other musicians in the band, just hang out. That's all of this is. It's hanging out, it's being a good guy, it's not being a dick, because most of being on a gig is hanging out. You're waiting around for 90% of the time to play a show for the other 10%. So you have to be likable, you have to be a good person, you have to be fun, and people want to have to spend time with you. My next tip for being a pro musician is learning to sight read. Now, I learned to sight read during the pandemic. I thought, right, now's the time. I'm going to sit down and teach myself how to read. And it was the best thing I've ever done, because as guitar players, it's not something we're taught. And that's something that I'm trying to combat in my course. So if you want to learn how to sight read, do check out my course in the link below. But anyway, sight reading isn't something that's necessarily taught to guitar players. So I thought, right, I'm going to teach myself how to sight read. And it's essentially being given a piece of music for the first time and being able to play it as perfectly as possible. It's a really hard skill, but it's really important for those higher end jobs, for film sessions, for the West End, for theatre tours, for working on cruise ships. All of these things, the music can't necessarily be shared beforehand because there's a risk of it being leaked. So you have to read that music day one. Go, off you go, read. It's a hard skill, but it's an important skill. And I remember not long after learning to read, I had a phone call. And it was one Friday afternoon. And they just said, hey, are you free this evening for a show in Poland? And I was like, yeah, sounds fun. And they were like, okay, great, pack your bags. You're going now, you're on the next flight. So I packed all my stuff together and I jumped on this flight. I had no idea what the show was. I hadn't been seeing any music. It was just a very last minute thing. And I arrive in Poland. I get driven to the festival, and I'm literally on stage and everything's already set. I'm using rental gear, don't know what the show is, I don't know how big this festival is, and there I am, stood side of stage, asking these questions. What's going on? What is this? I've just been flown out as emergency cover. So I'm told this is a festival for 40,000 people in Poland. And we're doing a show which is being televised, and I'm about to see the music for the first time as I walk on stage. Now, if I hadn't learned to sight read, I wouldn't have been able to have done this. And I would have crippled under the pressure. I would have embarrassed myself in front of 40,000 people and on TV. Career suicide. So learning to read for these last minute moments is so important. And the show went great. You know, I set up a little iPad just in front of my pedal board. Kept it discreet because I still want to perform and play to the cameras. But I had this ability. I was nervous, of course, but I had this trust in myself that I could get through this. I had enough instinct, I knew how to read, and I could get my way through this show. And it went great. It was one of the best shows I've ever done. I'll put some clips in here. Yeah, it was fantastic. So learning to sight read really is important because it opens up those other types of jobs. My third tip is probably an obvious one, but surprisingly not many musicians do this. It's learn to drive and have a valid passport. Now that sounds really like duh, obviously, but you never know. Like I talked about with this Poland job, you can get these last minute phone calls. Can you go now? And you have to be ready. What I was told in school? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Really cheesy, and as a kid I was like, that sucks. But it's something that I've realised is really true, especially as a musician. You have to always be ready. Have your passport on standby. Have a driving licence, because you're going to be driving up and down your country to various gigs across the country. Nothing's ever on your doorstep. You're always driving 3-4 hours away to a show and then driving home that night. You can't rely on trains. There was a short time period when I did rely on trains and I didn't drive. And I promise you, carrying a guitar, your pedal board, and your amp, which at the time was a Marshall combo that I had, is not fun. It wasn't good for my back. I remember messing up my train times, coming back from a gig, being dropped at the station, and there being no trains. And I remember, I kid you not, sitting, one time I was in Scotland for a show, got dropped in sort of St Albans, which is just north of London, at the train station, thinking there was going to be a train. The guy drives off, leaves me there. It's 3 a.m. Stupid me, there are no trains at 3 a.m, and I have to wait, sit outside at the train station in the cold with all my gear for 3 hours for the next first train to come the next morning at 6:30. I was freezing, I was tired, I couldn't sleep, I had all of my gear. Awful, really, really stupid, but if I didn't drive. So it's really integral to learn to drive and have a passport. My next tip is to always be prepared for any eventuality. Carry spare strings, carry spare cables, carry spare guitars. If you break a string, you can swap guitars quick on a show. You know, check your gears in working order. There's nothing worse than turning up to a show and having a broken cable or a faulty amp, especially if you're in a studio. They're just not going to call you back. You need your gear to be in working order, and you need backups should something go wrong. I remember doing a few shows in Saudi Arabia, and I packed everything, including the kitchen sink. We didn't know what was going to be accessible to us. We didn't know if there'd be music stores. We didn't know if we'd have extension leads. So I went out with a rucksack full of extension leads and power cables and adapters, guitars, amps. I took like triple of everything just in case something broke, or when we got there we found we didn't have anything. And luckily we did, because we arrived, and as great as everything was, there were still things like, can we have duct tape? And everyone was looking around like, no one's got duct tape. You never know, you forget all these things. So have a list. Go through it before a show, check you've got everything, check everything works, be prepared so that you're a true professional. My final tip is to have as much experience as possible in every different genre of music. You never know what gig you're going to be called for, and although you have your specialities, a gig's a gig at the end of the day. I'm personally a rock and blues player, but I've had to learn how to play jazz and country and folk and everything else because I started to be asked to play in big bands. Now, there's nothing worse than being a rock guitar player. Trust me, I've done it. Sitting down to play a big band show where you're doing Mac the Knife and and in the mood and all these sorts of things, looking at this chord chart and going, shit, I don't know these chords, or how do I improvise over this? And they just go 1, 2, 3, 4, go, and you're just sitting there like a deer in the headlights, like So be experienced, learn tunes in other genres, learn how to improvise over different chord changes, learn how to play different chords, different voicings, how to comp in different styles and be stylistic and appropriate in the type of music you're playing. Because the more versatile you are, the more gigs you can play, the more you're going to get booked for different things. And in general, the more exciting your life's going to be. I can go play a rock show and then go play a jazz gig. I can then be in an orchestra recording for a film, to next playing just the most weirdest pop gig you've ever done. But it keeps it different, it keeps it interesting, and if I wasn't diverse in all of these different genres and styles, I wouldn't be able to do that. So it's really, really important that you are broad in your knowledge. Now, if you want to expand your knowledge or learn how to comp and improvise in different styles, or even just refine your skills as a guitar player, then you should check out my course, Play Like a Pro. Play Like a Pro is what I've been building over the last 18 months, and it covers everything from your first guitar lesson through to advanced concepts, through to turning the guitar and music into a career. And when I started this, there was nothing like it on the market, and there still isn't as far as I'm aware. No one has gone as in depth as what I've done, and no one has brought in professional industry knowledge to sort of share with the world. You know, you learn things as you're a professional musician that you aren't taught in school. I've put all of that into this course to completely blow the doors open, no gatekeeping, share absolutely everything, and help develop you guys on your professional journey. I'm hoping to expand this soon and have other friends and professional musicians come in to do masterclasses. It's really exciting, and already students are finding it a really useful tool to learn guitar, to develop their careers, to learn different avenues of music. So check it out, there's a link below, and if you sign up today, you get my free music theory ebook, which is great. It's full of diagrams and explains all aspects of music theory. And you also get a free one-to-one guitar lesson with me, where we can look at your playing, break it apart, help get you to those next levels, and just chat guitar in general. So take a look at the link below at Play Like a Pro. But either way, remember to like and subscribe, support this channel, support me. I'm new to making content, so I hope you found value. I hope it's enjoyable. Keep playing, and I will see you in the next one.